Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Welcome to your news at noon. Without further ado, let's get to the news in detail. ExxonMobil's subsidiary, Esso, has issued an early warning to the industry stakeholders that its fourth project, being the $9 billion Yellowtail development, will generate a significant volume of hazardous waste that will increase pressure on local treatment facilities that are already stretched thin. This was noted in the company's environmental impact assessment that is undergoing a consultative process in collaboration with the EPA. In that document, Esso noted that Yellowtail's planned activities have the potential to impact waste management infrastructure capacity for current users of the Georgetown-based hazardous waste treatment facilities. In other news, former Finance Minister Winston Jordan has expressed grave concerns over Guyana's borrowing spree, and he also questioned the legality of a letter sent to the Chinese ambassador regarding a loan request of $1.5 billion, which he said was signed by a finance ministry official instead of the subject minister, who, according to Section 58(1) of the Fiscal Management and Accountability Act of 2003, has the sole authority to borrow on behalf of the government of Guyana. In a letter to the editor of Kaieteur News, Jordan said that he had begun to hear rumors around March about the government's approach to China for loans totaling $1.5 billion to finance various infrastructure projects. And moving on. It has been more than 1 month since Permanent Secretary attached to the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs was allegedly caught in a sting operation collecting a bribe from a contractor. The last update received on the matter is that the case file was once again returned to the Guyana Police Force for corrections to be made. Sharon Hicks, 42 years old of Undernaming West Bank Demerara, was arrested at her Kwamina and Thomas Street, South Cummings-Burg office on Thursday, October 7th, during the police operation. Following the sting operation, she was immediately sent on leave pending the investigation. And now let's tell you, the restoration of mangrove swamps, or mangroves simply called, conservation of the forests as well as the ecosystems are all essential to helping Guyana achieve its 2030 low-carbon development strategy and ultimate climate change goals. This is outlined in the draft copy of Guyana's proposed LCDS for 2030. The document, which was released to the public for consultation last month, proposed a version of Guyana's LCDS that builds on both the insights gained during the national consultation as well as on the progress made within the international framework for reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. It sets out how Guyana can provide the world with a working example of how immediate action can stimulate the creation of a low deforestation, low carbon, climate resilient economy. And moving on, the Ministry of Health has recorded thus far an alarming 14,786 malaria cases from a total of 61,663 tests for the year, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said. He said the government is going all out to fight the disease. However, the Health Ministry is teaming up with a number of international organizations and universities to carry out studies aimed at reducing the spread of malaria across the regions. The Ministry of Health said funding for the studies is being done by Gates Foundation. Government has also partnered with Oxford University and the University of Cape Town to assist Guyana in its elimination of malaria. And Knowledge tell you the Director of Public Prosecutions, Shalimar Alihak, has recommended that the coroner's inquest be conducted to determine the circumstances surrounding the death of 45-year-old Peter Headley. Back in May of this year, Headley was allegedly shot and killed by a policeman while being transported to the Providence police station. We understand that the file into Headley's death was recently returned to the police and that the DPP recommended that the Lance Corporal involved in his death be charged with neglect of duty. It is also understood that the policeman will be charged departmentally for his failure to ensure that the motor car in which Headley was in at the time of the shooting had been properly searched prior to departure to the police station. Also, it was recommended that the policeman be charged for his failure to ensure that Headley was appropriately restrained by handcuffing him. And now for your COVID-19 update, followed by the page 7 of the Kaieteur News. The Ministry of Health has reported that a 58-year-old woman from Region 6 who contracted COVID-19 has died. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 942. According to the ministry, the woman was a fully vaccinated patient who died on Saturday while receiving treatment at a medical facility. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry recorded 101 new infections, which takes the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 36,180. Out of the number of confirmed cases, 19,082 persons are women, while 17,098 are men. Presently, there are 11 patients admitted into the ICU, 73 persons in institutional isolation, 2,562 in home isolation, and 6 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 32,592 persons who contracted the virus have recovered. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley told the world that failing to act on climate change is a death sentence for all. Guyana's Bharat Jagdeo is telling everybody that oil is a lifeline for us. He is telling everyone that Guyana must drill and produce, and if atmospheric pollution occurs, then it is collateral damage. The Vice President is already dangerously overextending himself. We warn him, be careful. Please don't take Guyanese down with you like some reckless minibus driver. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Prime up and win. Did you still get